Welcome back, guys, to the Beer 52 Advent Calendar, Beer Advent Calendar. It's day number 7 now. So we're going to reveal the beer and then go and get it reviewed. So let's dive in and see what we get this time. There's been some disappointing beers so far. So hopefully things are going to get better. So without further ado, let's dive in and give it a go. So day 7. I was hopeful yesterday with the Utopian one. Didn't quite work out though. So we'll get our fingers in there. And we have got a beer from Brew York. And this is a can of their Beluga. And it's an extra pale ale coming in at 4%. It looks like we're going to be given lots of beers under 5%. So there we go. That's the beer. Let's go and get it reviewed. So here we are back in the beer review room. The beer is sitting here. Like I say, from Brew York, can of their Beluga Extra Pale Ale coming in at 4.0%, so 4%. I don't have a Brew York glass, so it's going in the Beer 52 glass, which really, I want to really do everyone in that because it's a Beer 52 Advent Calendar. Now, what do I think of Brew York? I've got to be honest, I'm a bit hit and miss with them. I don't think they're as good as some people maybe think. I think they're quite average. Nice artwork on the can. And hopefully this is going to be good. I've got to admit, it did go in the freezer for about half an hour just to chill it down because the cans are sitting in my house. So there is a little bit of trickery in my videos, in my editing. Well, editing. Putting one video along with another one, and that's about it. That's about as good as it gets. So it's nice and chilled. I can't read a lot of the stuff. Well, I can't read any of the stuff on the back. There we go. Need to get my bloody eye sorted. I always say that. So there you go. Have a look at that. If you've got a big TV, you might be able to see it. So let's get it cracked. Like I say, well chilled. Hopefully this is going to be good. Like the Beluga, it kind of looks festive, doesn't it? But that's only because the Beluga whale is white, if I'm correct. One of them big white whales. So get her open, stop talking, and hopefully we're going to have half decent beer this time. I hope you're all well. Friday night, it is extra pale. There certainly is no haziness there. I'm certainly having to work to get a bit of a head. It's looking rather thin as well. No surprise there. Do you think all these beers, more or less, are brewed for the Beer 52 thing at a price point? I'm starting to wonder actually how long before I start having a rant about these beers. Hopefully it's not going to be after today, but or today, but I reckon it could be. Anyway, Beluga Extra Pale Ale coming in at 4% from Brew York. It is extra pale. There is the slightest of hazes going on there, and we got just about that finger, just about that finger of head. It's sort of like got mix and match bubbles head. Not very compact. So I'm going to stop talking. We're going to dive in on the nose. What does it say on here? Brew York character. Extra pale ale. It does say something about the hops, but I can't read it. Anyway, let's have a sniffers. Yeah. A little bit of hoppy note. And I'm not really getting a lot. There is a little bit of a hoppy note. I think there's a little bit of a malty note, a little bit of fruitiness going on. But I'm really not picking an awful lot up. Maybe I'll give it another sniff once I give it a try. So there we go. Brew York Beluga Extra Pale Ale, Day 7, Beer 52 Advent Calendar. Cheers, guys. All right. Do you know what, right? I'm going to give these credit. Because they brewed an extra pale ale. Right, 4%. But this is along the lines of a traditional one. Not full on traditional, but it's along them lines. So I'm going to have another quick sniff now I've loaded it, see if I can get anything out of it. Yeah, hoppy, sort of spicy little bite to that hoppy aroma. Malty backbone. I wouldn't even say, you know, it's malty. You are getting quite a big malt hit in this. But that's about it. There's not a massive amount going on there. There may be a touch of fruity notes in there, like I said. But we'll go back to the beer. Let's dive in again. Right, body 4%. I'm going to say it's light, it's 4%, don't get me wrong. But I don't think the body is that bad. It does feel like it has a bit of weight to it. I think this beer being that little bit extra chilled is actually doing it a favour, believe it or not. And yeah, the carbonation in it, really small bubbles, quite a lot of small bubbles, but because it's small, there's no roughness about it. It's certainly not as carbonated as some of these other weaker beers that I've had. This at the moment is doing all right. It's doing all right for me. So the body's half decent, the carbonation's good. Goes down pretty easy. Don't get me wrong, the carbonation's low. It's not the smoothest of beers, but nor is it particularly rough. The mouthfeel is sort of all right. But what I like about this beer is it feels traditional. So when I've said with other beers, oh, it's a session IPA. Yeah, session IPA, they all they ever do is sort of like a craft session IPA is just put hops in it and it has no body to it, no depth to it. This feels more like a pale ale that has some maltness about it, a bit of bollocks about it in the body. The maltness is there, you do taste it, but for me, it is full on hop in flavour, sort of tropical, but I'm going to say the big note in this is a grapefruit, pithy, bitter sort of twang to it. The maltness is in the background. It sort of tickles along, but you certainly feel it in the beer. And that's my point. It makes the beer feel fuller. And it does add a little bit to the party, if I'm going to be honest. There is that little bit of maltiness in the background. It adds more sort of in body, I'm going to say, rather than flavour. So for sort of like saying at 4% for a pale ale, although it still feels sort of crafty in flavours generally, the malt is doing its job by sort of filling the beer out. I mean, it's don't get me wrong, it is no world beater. It feels like it's got that trad feel to it, but it's kind of half trad, half craft. And I've lost my trail of thought there. It's half trad, half craft. No massive world beater, but it feels like one of them sort of. It's a little bit supermarket pale ale, but one that is pretty decent, and that's all I can say really. Like I say, no world beater. It's sort of like a hybrid between the trad and the craft, but it's pleasant enough. Not the greatest beer in the world, but it's certainly one of the better ones out of this box. And you know, if we are going to get given lots of like 4% sort of beers, things around that in this box, you probably need things that are going to be a little bit more trad or have a bit of trad backbone to them to make them a bit better. So yeah, not the worst beer, certainly not the worst beer out of the box. No world beater, pleasant enough. It's not going to blow your mind, but really, are Beer 52 still shafting you? Because I'm not sure what the wife paid for this. I don't want to know. So anyone, don't tell me in the comments how much they are. But she got it at a pre-order price. I'm going to guess she's probably paid 50 to 60 quid. for these 24 beers, which would put them in probably at about, I don't know, £1. What for it? Well, yeah, it's going to come in at just over £2. Are they really still worth that money? I'm not sure, but at least that one was quite pleasant and enjoyable. So there you go, day 7 of the Advent calendar. This was better. Are the rest going to get better? Are we going to be treated to an Imperial Stout? I highly fucking doubt it. But it's all a bit of fun. So if you've got this Beer 52 box and you've had yours already, well, yeah, possibly you would have had yours already. If you've had yours already, let me know your thoughts on it. If you've had this beer before anyway, let me know, but I've got a feeling all these are brewed for the Beer 52 box. So I'm going to stop talking. We're nearly 10 minutes in. Thank you all for watching. Enjoy your night, and I will see you again soon on another one. Cheers.